test. Yeah. Keep it very close because you see it doesn't pick up right here. Yeah, because you notice it's not picking up my voice right now. You need to be. Right. I always have trouble with this. Thank you for reminding me. So, yeah, what do you do? Oh, yeah. You have to pre-light.
I hate these things. Let me see if I can find a match. I'm sorry.
Why?
I hate those things. They're very temperamental. Okay. And we got plenty of oil. Good. I'm glad I'm not a Catholic priest. There's way too much to remember.
And then.
And apparently God gets really mad if you screw up. So.
Okay. Cool. Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Okay. Do you want to ring the bell?
Oh, I'll go ahead and do it.
Good morning. There's my version. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. Okay. My name is Holley Ulbrich, and I am your worship associate today. My pronouns are she, her, and we. The land on which we meet is the ancestral home of the Southern Iroquois and the Eastern Cherokee, and we acknowledge their somewhat unwilling bequest of this land for our use. If we have any visitors today, you are welcome. We invite you to stand if you want to introduce yourself, and I checked, and there is indeed coffee and refreshments after the service in the social room, so whether you stand or not, feel free to come back and join us. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you. It's Rain from Seneca, and she's been here for a couple of weeks. Thank you. Anyone else?
Sorry.
All right, you've been outed. You're a visitor.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is John. I'm a friend of Wei, and I am from Dallas, Texas. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Happy Sunday.
Okay. John, Way's friend, is with us from Dallas, Texas. That's for the benefit of the people in the back room and on Zoom. Okay. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here. Whoever you love, wherever you were born, whatever language you speak, you are welcome here. Whatever your skin color, whatever your class background, whatever your range of abilities, you are welcome here. We're so glad that you chose our fellowship as your place of worship this morning, whatever your beliefs, whatever your politics, and whatever your theology. We come together for worship to slow down and listen to the callings of our hearts and our spirits. We come together today for worship so that we can be reminded of our highest aspirations and continue to transform ourselves into our better selves. If you're interested in reading our weekly newsletter so you can get connected with the community, our weekly sharing of joys and concerns, and our collective efforts to support local social justice work, please reach out to the office by email or on our website, www.uufc.org. Easy to remember. It being the 29th of December, there's not a lot going on this week, but there is still the First Friday hike. And if you are interested in participating in the First Friday hike, which is organized by Gordon Crane, just let Gordon know. I have one announcement for a little later in the new year, and that is that the quarterly meeting of the social action team will take place after the service and after social time on Sunday, the 12th of January. All are welcome to attend, and we're going to be sort of laying out our framework for the year. So if you want to have some input into our local, state, and national social justice work, please be sure to be there. Everyone is welcome.
Thank you, Holly. Hello, everyone. My name is Wei-Huan Chen, and I will be your worship leader for today. Can everyone hear every word I'm speaking? You want to raise your hand if anyone's having trouble? Every single word clear, loud? Great, okay. Well, so the opening words for today, which I would like to share, come from Reverend David Eaton, who is the first African-American minister of the All Souls Church in Washington, D.C. The church is that institution whose primary purpose is to help people discover, create, and maintain hope in their lives. When people have no hope, they discover hope together. And when they cannot discover hope, they create hope together. So let us now rise in body, mind, and spirit and sing together our first hymn, number 346. I believe that's the gray hymnal, right? Come sing a song with me. Wonderful, beautiful voices. Thank you. And come share a beautiful moment with me as I invite Holley to light the chalice as we read our congregation's words of affirmation, which you can find in your order of service. We gather together in a spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another. Karen?
So this morning's story is A Quiet Place by Douglas Wood, illustrated by Dan Anderson. Sometimes a person needs a quiet place. A place to rest your ears from bells ringing and whistles shrieking and grown-ups talking and engines roaring and horns blaring and grown-ups talking and radios playing and grown-ups. Well, even grown-ups need a quiet place sometimes. But it can be hard to find one. You have to know where to look. You could look under a bush, a lilac bush in your own backyard. When you crawl underneath it, all the sounds of the world seem soft and far away. And you can be a pirate finding buried treasure on a desert island. A bush could be your quiet place. Until someone calls you to clean your room. Then you could look in the woods. You might find an old stump for a chair or a mossy log for a couch and a green mansion of shadows and sunbeams. It's not really quiet, of course. Blue jays scream warnings and wind sings in the leaves. But it feels quiet. And you can be a timber wolf, the gray ghost of the forest. The woods can be your quiet place. But if the woods are too dark and deep, you could look by the sea on a beach in the early morning fog. Your footprints are the first of the day. The waves are roaring and the gulls are crying, but it doesn't seem noisy. And you can just be an explorer discovering a lost continent. The beach could be your quiet place. But if the beach is not your cup of tea, you could look in the desert, where Old Man Saguaro reaches for the sky and far-off thunderheads bloom like sky flowers over the mesas. A cactus wren drops by for a visit while a horned toad blinks in the sun. And you can be a Pony Express rider galloping through the Old West. The desert could be your quiet place. But if the desert is a bit too dry, you could sit by the pond. A heron by the shore stands still as a tree branch, and the water is so calm it looks like a mirror. Then the frog plops from a lily pad, and your face begins to wiggle. And you could be the world's greatest fisherman reeling in a monster catch. A pond could be your quiet place. But if the fish aren't biting, you could look in a cavern where every footstep echoes and the slow drip, drip of water builds new rocks that hang like icicles or stand like sculptures, where days and nights and weeks and years are all the same. And you can be a cave dweller in the lair of the saber-toothed tiger. A cave could be your quiet place. But if a cave is too cold and damp, you could climb to the top of a hill where clouds float by like ships or alligators or elephants. On a hilltop, you can see a long way and think long thoughts about how and what and why. And you could be a mountain climber on the top of the world. A hilltop could be your quiet place. But if your legs are too tired for climbing, you could wait for a snowy day and lie down in a snowdrift. All around you, the falling snow whispers, shh, and wraps the world in silence. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it breathing. You breathe softly too, pretending to be a polar bear sleeping in a land where the snowy silence never ends. A snowdrift could be your quiet place. But if it's too warm for snowdrifts, you could visit a museum where brass tigers and bronze lions stand silent guard over fabulous treasures. Every painting is a magic window that your own imagination can open wide and climb through. And you can be an artist admiring your own masterpiece. A museum could be your quiet place. But if the museum is closed for renovation, you could go to a secret corner of the library, where the only people talking are between the covers of a book. They speak so softly, you can only hear them in your head as you read about forests and oceans and deserts and caverns and museums and 1,000 other things. A library could be your quiet place. But if the library isn't open yet, you could go home and clean your room and read your own books and think your own thoughts and feel your own feelings and discover the very best quiet place of all, the one that's always there, no matter where you go or where you stay, the one inside of you.
This is the time in our service where we share our offerings for the support of the ministry of this congregation to one another and to the larger community. We are supported by free will offerings, which is a richly Protestant tradition that we have inherited from our forebears. The sharing with the community includes 25% of the plate offering given to one of the 4 local service agencies we support, and for this month it is Habitat for Humanity. We also collect food, and we don't have any children, so I may need a volunteer or two to collect the food offering, and that goes to Clemson Community Care, our local food bank. Thank you for your generosity.
Do we have any joys and concerns for today? I'm sure we have lots of joys. So I will have Holley place a stone for all the joys and concerns held closer to the heart and not shared with us today. I know most of you guys, and I can kind of imagine the complex world of joys and concerns that we have all within us. And so now we have a wonderful time that I decided to choose. Since I'm biased and I got to pick the order of service, which is a time of prayer and meditation with beautiful music with our wonderful pianist, Cory Dodgens. So please join me in the spirit of musical meditation. Well said. Thank you. Congratulations. We made it to the end of the year. Look at our battle scars, our wounds we've earned, the bags under our eyes, our faces of dried tears like salty coastlines outlining the shape of our past pains. How beautiful it is to arrive at the end of a challenging time and the start of an exciting new era. Here we are today, together, joined in harmony and in common purpose, as both members and guests of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. Let us rejoice in the fact that we are a small but powerful congregation committed to making the world a just and fair place for people of all backgrounds and identities. I can't think of another group more different from one another, yet more closely joined together in a common mission. So this is my last service here before I'm headed off to Thailand. So I've been thinking a lot about how special this place is and how much I'm gonna miss UUFC. How incredible that we have such a diverse group of people and viewpoints, yet we're able to exist in harmony. As a member of the choir, I know how much work and practice it takes to achieve harmony, to get in tune with one another. Being on the same page as one another, you think you can just do it without effort, but it doesn't come naturally. And I'll admit it, I don't always sing in tune with the choir. You've probably heard it. It's fine, but when harmony does happen, when we're all in the same musical and spiritual wavelength, man, what magic we create. Now, it's been a long year, and we are at its end. So please join me in taking a deep breath, followed by slow, long exhale. You have earned it. And if you want to keep going, focusing on the long exhale. Long exhales, I was reading some science about this. They send signals to the brain that it's time to rest. And then the brain tells the rest of the body to relax the muscles. Deep breathing creates a feedback loop of relaxation. As you breathe, feel the release of the shoulders. Feel the release of the back of the neck, the release of the chest. Feel the release of the heart. As our muscles loosen up, our spirits get to open up. Daily life in the modern era means being bombarded at all times from all directions with all sorts of distressing signals. So over time, we build up a tension that can't be released so easily. What a spiritual community does is to give everyone here and everyone tuning in online, hello, a place to feel safe enough to let our guards down. Let us just briefly let down our guards, let out the soft child within us, and if that child wants to cry, let her cry. At long last, it is time to rest. Ever since 2020, I would say, I've been thinking a lot about the topic of burnout. And if you try to run too many programs at the same time on a computer, it starts to slow down, overheat, or even crash. Our minds, too, get burnt out when we try to handle too much, and we get overwhelmed, and our mental programs begin to crash. We start to become anxious, angry, unfocused. We get frustrated with daily tasks. We lose our patience with each other. We have our worst habits flare up. We feel like our batteries are drained all the time, even after resting. What we need in a time of exhaustion is not suspending some programs or closing out some tabs. What we need is true, permanently transformative, deep rest. We need a total rejuvenation of the spirit. Now, that to me is the greatest gift given to us by the holiday season. A time to rest and reset our minds, bodies, and spirits. So as we approach the new year, we prepare ourselves for a total reboot, just like a computer turning back on again, so we may face the challenge of the world anew. Rest, renew, rebuild. So that is the theme of today's talk. And I offer you an invitation to reset. So we have the space to rebuild and repair our relationship to the world, our relationships to each other, and our relationships to ourselves. The great Jewish theologian Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote, 6 days a week we live with a fury of acquisitiveness. Sabbath renews the soul, and we rediscover who we are. 6 days a week we wrestle with the world, wringing profit from the earth. And on the Sabbath, we especially care for the seed of eternity planted in the soul. Now, this quote comes from The Sabbath, which is Heschel's seminal 1951 book on the Jewish observance of the Sabbath. It is an exploration of the holiness, not of things, not of spaces, but of time. By observing the Sabbath, he says, the Jewish people create a sacred architecture of time in which they create menuha. Menuha is an ancient Hebrew word that is translated as joyous repose, tranquility, or delight. It is a restfulness that is also a celebration achieved by committing fully to eating and praying and communing with those closest to you. Now, while the Sabbath is holy for Jewish people, people of all faiths have ways to ritualize and honor rest. For Buddhists do retreats. Retreats are a period of time spent in a mindful, meditative state without active mental activities such as talking or reading or working. The first time I went on retreat, that was at the Southern Dharma Retreat Center, which is close to Asheville. I was very nervous about it. I didn't want to be away from my obligations, away from the creature comforts of daily life. And for the first 2 days, it was excruciating. My mind, I think, is just so used to constant stimulation, constant external input. My mental computer had not been turned off for a long, long time. But after 2 days, I actually hear this about a lot of retreats, like day 2, day 3. This calm and focus came to me, and it was like a bunch of fog in my mind clearing up. And then I was able to see myself with clarity. And it was during one of these meditative states, while on another retreat earlier this year, when I suddenly realized, I need to quit my job and travel the world. It was during this period of deep rest and reconnection that I felt the sense of joy that I never really felt in the daily grind of work. It was this reacquainting myself with a part of me that got buried. Rest and retreat had revealed to me just how deep my spiritual fatigue was, how disconnected from my core values I was. Only then was I able to rebuild my identity and figure out my direction in life. So isn't that what rest is all about? It's connecting with our authentic selves. It's being able to have ourselves and unleash it to the world. So, one of my favorite services this year, it was the Coming Out Stories service on October 6th. Do you guys remember that one? Yeah, man, we have such a gift with Reverend Holley here. We heard 4 stories of coming out with Reverend Holley, Reverend Laura, Reverend Jason, and Aster, the student from Clemson University. There was 4 people who decided to be courageous enough to be their authentic selves, to no longer hide who they are to the world, despite living in a world that has time and time again shamed them for who they are. And to decide that they would rather face the repercussions of people not liking them, attacking them for being trans or queer or non-binary, but they would rather face those challenges than be disconnected from their authentic self. And I believe that all of us, of all genders and sexualities, can take inspiration from the bravery of the LGBTQIA community. Let them be our models. If 2025 is to be the year of authenticity and liberation, then let us all come out to the world. I guess in a way this year I came out as a Peace Corps volunteer. Now that was very different from from coming out as trans or non-binary. Being a Peace Corps volunteer is not life-threatening to announce to the world, but it was my journey that I had to take, and it was hard in my own way. There's all these shackles of old habits, old ways of thinking that made me question, what should I do? How should I walk this very confusing path of adulthood? And some part of me still has these internalized fear-based lessons that I grew up with. There's a kind of like a strict system of shoulds and should nots. And yeah, the world tells you a message of shame long enough, it starts to become a part of your inner monologue. And for me, it was saying to me, you're the chief of strategy for academic affairs for Clemson University, reporting directly for the provost. You're going to throw it all away and become an unpaid volunteer? Our inner critics are very well trained. I was a professional critic. I'm very good at being judgmental. And our inner critics have had years of reinforcement from the people around us. And sometimes these voices are better at tearing us down than we are at building ourselves back up. During that meditative state of deep rest and renewal, the truth, not the inner critic, the truth revealed itself to me that my job no longer served my core values, and despite the fact that, seen from the outside, it appeared to be a very, very good job. Now, in the book, The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz says that the dream of the domesticated planet is imparted onto us in childhood by the family, the school, and the church. And even when we leave those entities and become adults in the world, the voices of the dream of the planet still linger within us. He says that this dream is a fantasy, one based on valuing people, not necessarily on attributes that are the most important or best for us. This dream is one we must wake up from in order to change this world of judgment and fear that we live in. So this is what he says, quote, "We need a great deal of courage to challenge our own beliefs, because even if we know we didn't choose all these beliefs, it is also true that we agreed to all of them. The agreement is so strong that even if we understand the concept of it not being true, we feel the blame, the guilt, and the shame that occur if we go against these rules." So the dream of the planet In the dream of the planet, it is normal for humans to suffer, to live in fear, to create emotional dramas. The outside dream is not a pleasant dream. It is a dream of violence, a dream of fear, a dream of war, a dream of injustice. End quote. Very interesting book. Very interesting book. Yeah. When I first joined UUFC, late 2022, 2 years ago, I felt broken by the world. The pandemic made me anxious, isolated. Breakup left me with a broken heart, and 10 years in the news industry, in which my attention was always turned toward the negative, had given me a distorted view on the state of the country. So when I asked myself, how did I create a new dream for myself, one in which I was no longer this helpless bystander in a corrupt and unjust society? Well, I didn't rebuild myself, not on my own. You all helped me. And you guys encouraged me, and you mentored me, and you gave me opportunities to express authentic parts of me without fear. So, I mean, I can't express how much everyone here helped me turn my life around. UUFC was the sunshine and water to this formerly wilting plant. I don't think individual willpower alone is enough for a lot of us to turn our lives around. We all need a support system. Now, I can say I have experienced firsthand how spiritual community heals and restores those who need it. Now, I know some of us here feel like they're at a low point. It's possible. And maybe a lot of us here are doing okay, but just barely. It's been a heck of a year and our heads are still spinning. We still feel out of breath. Well, how wonderful then that you are here. The perfect place to begin a new chapter. When our relationship to the world is broken or unhealthy, a fellowship like this one becomes the place to begin our healing journey. To rest, renew, rebuild. As we look to 2025, what are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to being free from? How would you like to inhabit the world moving forward? And how can we do it together with each other's support? How will we together achieve liberation? So I want to give some background on the opening words for today. Earlier this year in November, just 5 days after the election, I found myself at the First Parish of Cambridge, listening to a wonderful sermon by Rob Hardy's, the minister there. And he reminded us that week of the resilience of the UU faith. It was the perfect place to be that day. He actually inspired me so much that I went on the YouTube page for the Cambridge UU and listened to a lot of his sermons, and this is where I discovered this quote by Reverend David Eaton, which I love so much because it perfectly encapsulates my experience with UUFC that I have had in the last 2 years. The church is that institution whose primary purpose is to help people discover, create, and maintain hope in their lives. When people have no hope, they discover hope together. And when they cannot discover hope, they create hope together. Thank you, and may you be well. Let us now rise together in body, mind, and spirit. Oh, I skipped it. We're doing the sharing now, actually. Okay, so my question's about what, yes, I will pass the mic, so I will explain. So I really do want to hear what you're looking forward to in 2025. So what we're going to do is going to pass the mic to we'll start from Larry. So Holley, if you just want to give that mic to Larry, and we'll pass the mic, and if there's like a 30-minute or 30-second or 1-minute version, yes. And please hold the mic very, very as close as possible. Yes, like this. The people at home will not be able to hear you if it's very far away. And so if you don't want to share or you're kind of caught off guard a little bit, we'll just pass the mic and it can come back around to you. But I'm treating this sermon as a question. What are you looking forward to in 2025?
I'm looking forward to spending time with my family. On my second chance, I'm looking forward to spending time with my family.
I'm looking forward to the garden this spring and what will come up.
I'm looking forward to spending time with my family and also learning how to rehab bats. And I'm going to a workshop in Texas for that. So, and taking rabies shots so I don't get rabies. And that's good.
I'll try not to get rabies as well. Good move. I'm at a transition, and I'm going to move from a workaday life to a retired life, I hope. Hello? Okay. As I said, I'm going to talk to transition from a working life to a retired life, which is very difficult for me.
Wishing good health in our household.
As a returning member from years ago, I am looking forward to reconnecting with this beautiful fellowship.
Can I have two?
Yes, yes.
My hope is that I begin the new year with a complete manuscript on my novel. My goal is to finish it by the end of the year. And then the second thing is that I continue through the next year living with grace and acceptance with Parkinson's disease.
I want to develop myself as a writer in 2025.
Wonderful.
I'm looking forward to exploring the city and the country that I live in more. I'm looking forward to hopefully finishing my IS project and visiting my sister in Dublin.
We'll try to as close and almost as loud as possible.
I'm looking forward to growth.
Even closer, even louder, yeah.
I'm just looking forward to growth.
Looking forward to growth.
Looking forward to seeing our grandson play on his high school basketball team.
I'm looking forward to working on the bucket list and doing a little travel.
I'm looking forward to getting my yard cleaned up from the storms.
I am also looking forward to retirement this year. I'm looking forward to more hiking, more outdoor time, and enjoying nature.
I'm taking on the challenge of listening and watching less news.
I'm going to continue seeking guidance from above, and I'm with you, Mel.
I'm looking forward to trying to plan some trips and hopefully some resolution on my father's living situation.
I'm looking forward to seeing how my flower garden that I planted last year, how it will grow this year, and also getting some resolutions to my health problems.
I'm looking forward to reconnecting with my values this year.
I'm looking forward to a year of focusing on sustainability in everything that I do, the way I keep house, the way I eat, and the way I care for my little piece of land.
I am looking forward to more travel this year and seeing the beautiful sights this country has to offer.
I am looking forward to divine guidance in decisions of what I should do and what I shouldn't do because I can't get it all done.
I'm looking forward to getting my shoulder back so I can play my bass again. And I'll be playing with the Clemson University Orchestra this year, just in case you want to come to concerts. Looking forward to hanging out with my son, grandson, even though they're in Maryland normally. And also looking forward to the fact that John and I are working on research projects together this year. We started last year and we've been having a great time. So we've been having fun.
Hello, Sarah's son, Emmett. Haven't been here in like 15 years. But I'm looking forward to all the travel that my work will take me to this year and spending time with my boys.
I'm looking forward to continued spiritual growth and resolution and with my mother.
I'm looking forward to celebrating my 40th wedding anniversary for my husband in June.
I'm looking forward to getting to know people in this community a little better. And I want to put in a plug for the book called This Is How It Always Is, which I understand the book club here is planning to read together come January. And it is on Kindle Unlimited, and it is luminous.
I'm hoping for a year of good health.
Are we good? Is there anyone who didn't get to share and wants to share? Cory, you want to share? What are you looking forward to this year? Another year here. Let's do another year here. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, let us rise together in bodies, mind, and spirit and sing together. Hymn number 100, Peace Like a River.
Soul.
We. The closing words today come from Susanna Heschel, who is the daughter of Abraham Joshua Heschel. With the Sabbath comes a miracle. The effulgence of Sabbath holiness fills every corner of the household. Anger is lifted, tensions are gone, and there is a glow on the face. Go in peace, return in love. Amen. Thank you for being with me.